All right, Chris, does David Tepper need a GoFundMe to pay his $300,000 fine?
Wah! Mean fans, wah! Wah! Mean fans, wah! Where is the Jacksonville security? Wah!
I bet your youngest child has thrown drinks at you, not intentionally, but I bet that's happened before at some point.
She actually hasn't.
Oh
So yeah,
wow,
my
see?
my my 14-month-old child is she's a little bit more measured when it comes down to handling things that she doesn't like going on.
Already more mature. Already more mature. Let's get this sucker started.
The state of North Carolina covers 53,000 square miles. It is the habitat of the feared Carolina Panthers. Get dialed in, Panthers fans, for an in-depth look at your team, exclusive interviews, locker room insight. Let's huddle up for Panthers Playbook. Here are your hosts, Dennis Cox and Chris Lea.
Welcome back to another episode of Panthers Playbook. That's Chris Lea, Dennis Cox here with you. Chris has a drink in his hand. I hope I don't say anything that causes him to throw it at me, but that's fine because we're in different locations. The only thing you'd be hurting is your equipment and your computer, but that's okay. That's on you. That's on you.
Yeah.
Before we get into David Tepper, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And I know that the thoughts and the takes are out there on Tepper, but let us know in the comments section down below your thoughts on Tepper and this franchise moving forward, because if you haven't heard, $300,000 fine by the NFL towards David Tepper for throwing a drink at or on Jaguars fans at the game this past Sunday. And it was just like another thing on top of already an embarrassing performance on the field. You just had to make it even worse off the field, David Tepper.
In the grand scheme of fines in the NFL, I think if I've done my studies and my history correctly on this, there have been five seven-figure or more fines by the NFL, whether it's to a franchise or an individual, like an owner or somebody. And then there have been at least, I want to say, 6 or 7 fines in the six-figure range, at least. So probably more. Couldn't find everything, and so David Tepper's falls into that. And while you saw all the figures that came out, and basically if you make $65,000 a year, this is like you getting fined 87 cents for David Tepper. So of course this isn't going to hurt him at all.
Who
But
carries change?
but in the grand scheme of things, this is one of the heftiest fines in NFL history, right? It doesn't matter if it isn't like something that's going to really hurt his pockets. He will go down as one of the people who got the largest fines simply for losing his cool and throwing a drink on somebody he shouldn't have done so. He should have, like he said in his not apology statement, he should have called security, had them handle it or whatever. At the end of the day, what I saw on video, didn't see a fan throw anything at him. I didn't see a fan try to get through that window to get at him. They probably just said something to him like, "Hey, you stink at owning a team," and he took it the wrong way and threw a drink at him.
Hey, truth
It
hurts
looked
sometimes,
like
man.
it looked like David Tepper was the aggressor in that situation. Now we didn't see the full situation. We don't know what happened the entire game, but his not apology statement that he released earlier in the week to talk about it made it seem like he should have gotten security involved for that fan. People are just talking. It's sports. You know what I'm saying? If you can't take it, don't come to a game and don't sit in a place where you have access to those fans, because people are going to let you know how bad of an owner you have been. And then on top of that, you not only represent all 53 guys on the field, you represent the shield, right? And if you're going to talk about the players and what the players should be doing and all that, well, you as the owner need to be on your very best behavior at all times. And it will be cool to actually apologize. I did not hear an "I'm sorry." I did not hear anything like, this won't ever happen again. I lost my cool. I should not have done this. He more so was just like, "Oh, I'll just take the fine, and I should have gotten this. I should have handled this better." No real "I'm sorry," and that's the part that that to me really stinks and shows the true character of the Tepper tantrum, David Tepper.
So this statement from Tepper said, quote, it's 3 sentences, quote, I am deeply passionate about this team and regret my behavior on Sunday. I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. I respect the NFL's code of conduct and accept the league's discipline for my behavior, end quote. That's it, 3 sentences. The middle sentence, I should have let NFL stadium security handle any issues that arose. Dude, you were the issue. You're the one throwing the drink. Like, you were the issue. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You were the issue. Like, people are going to say stuff to you. You know why? Because you're the opposing team's owner, and their team, Jacksonville, was whipping your butts up and down the field. So guess what? They're going to talk trash to you. That's what they did. You were the problem.
Yeah.
You are the problem. Not were. You are the problem. Because guess what? Your action on Sunday, who wants to work with you, Tep? Who wants to work with you? Exactly. Look in the mirror. I see me. Look in the mirror, David Tepper. Guess what? No one wants to work with you, David Tepper, because they're going to look and see this owner of this team and go, I don't care how much you pay me. You showed your true colors. We already know that you're impatient. We already know that you're thin-skinned. We already know that you can't handle difficult situations. So why do I want to deal with you? Like, you meddle in decisions that clearly you have no experience in handling ever. Why would I want to come work with you? Congratulations, David Tepper. You just cost yourself any sort of shot at getting any decent coach. Guess what? That's the reason why there's $15 million price tag reportedly to get Ben Johnson, who has 0 days of coaching in the NFL. Like, there's a reason why that price tag is there, because no one wants to deal with your bull crap. No one does.
I have a question for you. Has David Tepper reached Dan Snyder hatred levels?
Oh, I think he has in a short period of time. And the thing about Dan Snyder was an owner of a team, formerly Washington, who sued his own fans. And I wouldn't put it past David Tepper to do something like that.
He'd try to get back all the money, maybe from stadium renovations or bringing in concerts, running water to Charlotte, helping us with all that. Internet. Thank you so much, David Tepper, for bringing all that. But you took away winning football. This is horrible, and it's not a good look for him at all. And I don't know if this is an offense where the NFL or the NFL owners can come in and say, hey, bro, you're a little embarrassing. We got to force you to sell the team. I don't think it's that egregious, right?
No.
But I would hope that David Tepper looks into the mirror and really figures out and just what he needs to do with himself. Because clearly there's not a lot of self-control when it comes to owning sports franchises. Now, he's a trader, right, on the market. You got to have some sort of self-control to do that. Trust me, I know that is tough. His job that he had doing that is tough, but it's completely different when you're reading charts and you're figuring out patterns and other things during the day and figuring out when to have the right entry, when to pull out and stuff like that. That's completely different. When you're owning a football team, you are managing so many different egos. You're managing different rules. You're managing coaches, scouts, all these things. And on top of that, there's a business to run underneath. You're good at the business part. Focus on that, right? You've got somebody by the name of Michael Jordan who's close by, who owned a team in Charlotte, right? Call him up. You used to be a minority owner with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure you still know the Rooney family. Call them up. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why, like, at any point in your life, I don't care who you are, where you're at in life, you still need coaching with what you're doing. I love when my boss pulls me into his office and says, hey, let's go over the 6:00 news so we can figure out what you did great. Let's build on that. Take away some of the things that maybe you didn't do as good. Take away those things and maybe figure out why and figure out how to flip that into something better. And I think David Tepper probably feels like he's gotten to a level to where he is above all of that. He's above anybody giving him any type of, I guess, criticism
Mhm.
is maybe the right word for
Yeah.
it. And it sucks because it feels like when some people when they make a lot of money feel like, well, I've made a lot of money, no criticism needs to come my way because I've made this. No. That means nothing.
That mean
Great, you
anything.
made a lot of money. That's cool. That's cool and all. But where's your heart? You're clearly not. You're clearly not a good person at heart,
Oh,
right? There's things you need to work on. And those are things that money can't buy. It doesn't matter how many billions you're worth. You got to clean this up and you got to figure out how to stay out of grown folks' business who know the game of football because you've messed this team up. A
yeah.
team that was historically mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad in the NFL. Historically mediocre. Maybe we'll make the playoffs this year. Maybe we won't, but it'll come down to the final few weeks.
Yeah.
You've taken a team that was historically mediocre, and now you're basically taking us out of playoff picture by week 6 for the last 5 seasons. This is you got to look inward, David Tepper. You
Mhm.
are the reason, and it
Oh,
starts with firing Scott Fitterer. I'm sorry,
well,
that's the
yeah.
first
Well,
step.
speaking of Scott Fitterer, you notice how
That's the
when
first
that
step.
drink got thrown, Scott Fitterer just standing there, just like, "Yep, seen this before."
You know what? And that is indicative of the problem.
Oh, 100%.
Because if I'm sitting in a booth with Jimmy Goodman, who's who's the chairman and part of the ownership group here at Capital Broadcasting, and he throws some drinks on a fan, Jimmy, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I know that's my boss, right? But at the end of the day, yo, chill out. Like that's bad for your image. Like that's a lawsuit happen. Like I'm trying to protect you by getting on you. Nobody around him said a word.
Mm-hmm.
That is indicative of how he runs that company. When he says something, it goes. Nobody can talk back, and nobody can give him any feedback on it because it's whatever David Tepper does.
I will say this as well. David Tepper lucky that there was a barrier because he's in a suite, that there's a barrier and like between him and the fans that he threw his drink towards. He's lucky because he does that in the wrong place with the wrong person. You're liable to catch
Bro,
hands, man. Like you
that
catching
is
hands.
that is Duval County, Florida.
Yeah.
He was in the right place. He just didn't get the right person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't like stereotypes, right? But let that be a Duval County dreadhead with gold teeth. What's happening?
You don't make it back. That's what I'm saying.
What's happening? Because those people are listening to Kodak Black and they ready for anything. They're ready. They are ready.
You had to bring
They
Kodak
haven't got
Black.
dreads. They haven't got their dreads retwisted in like 2 years. Okay, you don't want to mess with those people.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see the roots all grown out and everything. They oh my god, the wigs
Yeah.
are crazy.
Oh, yeah. I used to think it's not even just Duval County, like it's anywhere. Like you do that in the wrong place with the wrong person. Guess what? Like I said, you're catching hands. Like you're not walking home clean. That's all I'm going to say. So you're lucky. You're lucky that you were in that right spot. And here's something I wish the NFL had done. I wish the NFL, the fine was higher. Not that it matters to Tepper. I mean, I wish the fine was higher, but again, for a guy worth $20.6 billion, ain't worth a darn to him. But I also wish that they forced him to do anger management classes and community service. Like, hey, how about you go work retail? How about you go work the drive-in at a fast food spot? Like, go work at Bojangles for like serve 20 hours. See what it's like. You know, that's what I want to say. Just know what that's like. Because guess what? You're going to catch so much crap for that. And also, you can talk about the apology. Where was he like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done what I did. I'm also going to match that fine. I'm going to devote money to the Jaguars Foundation or something along those lines to anti-bullying down there in Jacksonville and Duval County. I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to truly show remorse. Guy don't give a damn. Dude doesn't give a rat's ass about people. He doesn't give a rat's ass about the people in his own building.
I wish the NFL in these situations outside of fines would figure out a way to make owners kind of, I guess, more responsible in a way to kind of answer back to their fan base.
Yeah.
And a way to answer back to your fan base is, hey, David Tepper, we suggest that you do those things that you just laid out. You don't have to. It's a very strong suggestion. But if you don't, you're losing a draft pick.
Yo, that's different.
Now, just imagine a backlash in Charlotte.
Oh, God.
If now you're talking about this is part of the future on the line now, and you had a hard time filling that place. I mean, okay, tickets distributed 70,000.
Yeah.
All right, you thought it was tough looking at Bank of America Stadium this year. It'll get even worse next year if you're made to be accountable towards your fan base. Because at the end of the day, when these owners are doing things like this, all of their hurting is the fan base anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That $300,000 fine doesn't mean anything to them.
Doesn't hurt
them. It's literally change. Like I said it at the top, $65,000 a year. If that's what you make, then let's say you just gave out 87 cents for a fine at your job. That's the equivalent. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to even think about it.
You can't even get something from the vending machine from that, man. Like that's the thing.
Facts.
Yeah.
Well, that's because of inflation, though.
There's that.
But
Still, but you're spot on. Like you're only hurting the fans, and
you're only hurting the fans.
And by the way, speaking of people that listen, here on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page, on some other videos talking about David Tepper and things along those lines, someone suggested as part of his punishment, he should actually announce the number 1 overall pick of the 2024 draft.
That's hilarious. That's actually probably the best idea I've heard.
That 100%. I don't have the person up here in front of me, but whoever said that, props to you. 100%. But you know what? If you want to show your frustration,
number 1 overall pick, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams from USC.
Yeah. But here's something I actually would like to see Panthers fans do. Obviously, you know what? Best way to show that your frustration is don't show up to Bank of America on Sunday. But if you do show up, wear a poncho. Even though it's supposed to be nice weather, just wear a poncho. Just been like with a sign says, protecting myself from Tepper. Just wear a poncho.
That's funny. You remember that March on Mint that was supposed to happen?
Yeah, where's that?
It didn't happen. Like, I think, there was like this kids event or something that was supposed to happen. So then they decided not to do it. Whoever organized that before, now is the time, homie.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like we're getting out of football season. Now is the time. Like, make us think about it. Like, legit, shut down Mint Street. There needs to be 20,000 fans out there, and all with signs. There needs to be, hand out papers out there so people know what the chants are going to be. Hey, we're doing chant A6. Hell no, Tepper's got to go. Whatever you're going to end up saying.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Just news is going to show up. The local news. It'll make national news.
Oh, yeah.
It'll embarrass David Tepper, and it'll make him really have to, one, be held accountable, but two, actually do something to change his behavior, especially if there's the risk of losing the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
And the NFL, I don't think wants to move out of Charlotte.
No,
so he can't threaten to leave. Also, you still have a lease at Bank of America. So you're stuck for a little bit anyway. Fans, come together. This is the time. March on Mint, do it. Figure out a day, do it for 2 days, do it for 2 months, whatever you want to do, but make sure David Tepper hears you and feels you.
Here, I'll share my final thought on this. Tepper's actions, it's one thing when your team is bad, but when you have Tepper's actions like you saw on Sunday, what pride does a Carolina Panther fan have right now? Like, what can you hang your hat on as a Panther fan?
That Cam Newton wants to come back.
What's that? Like Cam Newton wants to come back?
Cam Newton wants to come back. That's it.
That's it. Like, that's it. Like, that's all you can hang your hat on.
Steve Smith still lives in Charlotte. So does Musa Muhammad.
Great. Awesome.
They love the area.
And they love what they used to do. But guess what?
That's
not the same franchise anymore. It's not the same franchise anymore. That's it. That's the only thing you have your hang your hat on. It's like, man, 2015 was freaking awesome. Yeah. Like, that's all you can hang your hat on.
Yeah.
That's it. There's nothing for you as a Carolina Panther fan right now to be proud of at this moment with this current team. Nothing. And guess what? Tepper ruined it for you. Tepper ruined this franchise for you, and it sucks for them.
You can be proud of Derek Brown. There is something.
Well, yes, you can be proud of Derek Brown, but it's just, why would Derek Brown want to stay? I mean, that dude's going to get paid anywhere he wants to go. That dude, he can get paid anywhere. And
he can get paid anywhere, but the Panthers don't have to let him out. Like, they can. He has one more year left in the contract. They can franchise him, right? So, like, they could go ahead and say, "Hey, what? How much do you need to stay? All right, we got that. Let's do it."
More than $15 million a year, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no.
Either way.
Well, so here's the thing with Derek Brown. He needs 3 more tackles, and if he gets 3 more tackles, it'll equal 99. That will be the most tackles by a defensive lineman in NFL history in a single season. Christian Wilkins from the Dolphins is who has the current record. He had 98, whether it was last year or the year before, something like that. So he set the newer record. Right now, Derek Brown's sitting at 96. I think more than likely he's going to get 3 more, probably 4 more to get 100. And now you're talking about the first defensive lineman to get 100 tackles. Boy, that's gonna you got to pay that man.
Yep.
The first defensive lineman, if he becomes the first defensive lineman, when he becomes the first defensive lineman to have 100 or more tackles in a season, you got to pay that guy.
Yep, 100%.
You have to pay him.
Gonna have to pay him.
And you still have to pay Brian Burns.
Yeah, he's destined for a franchise tag. I can tell you that right now. That's my guess. He's going for a franchise. He's gonna be franchise tagged. But whomever the GM is gonna be, because I doubt it's gonna be Scott Fitterer. But maybe we'll find out after this Sunday's game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Bank of America Stadium,
that.
Chris. Yeah, that's right. There's still one more of these things.
Oh,
left.
yeah.
There's still one more of these. We'll have another episode for you that evening after the game. Maybe Tepper's the general manager. Maybe he's not. I don't know. We'll let you know. But either way, make sure you subscribe here on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page. Hit that notification bell as well. That way you don't miss any of the things that we do. You think it was a gin and tonic?
He had something crazy up in there. I know that. Maybe some rum. Maybe it's the rum that made him feel that way.
So that's a Duval County special for you. We'll see you guys on Sunday.